I wouldn't say 100%, but I want to get a video out to you guys. Get this list out to you guys. If you're new to this channel, then welcome to you guys. There's a reason that the universe brought you to this channel, and this video might not be it, but the channel in general is going to help you along your day trading journey. I promise you that. Go check out the videos that I've got. If this one is a little bit more advanced than what you're looking for, go check out the Learning Tools playlist. Start at the bottom, work your way to the top. The way we trade here with the Strat is going to change the way that you have ever traded before. I really truly believe that, and I promise you that. So let's get started on this video right quick here. I want to go through a couple things real quick. Number one, the screen that you see here, you can see that's tradingview.com. If you don't have something like this, you're going to want to get something like this. And lucky for you, down below I've got a link. That link gets you a free 30-day trial to their subscription-based services. And if you don't want to use those sub-services, then if you decide to use those sub-services after 30 days or before the 30 days is up, you get up to $30 off of that subscription, okay? But you need to start by clicking on that link. You can do that after the video. Everything else, guys, let's get started. We'll talk about the indicator in the Discord as we go through this, but I really just want to get through this list for you guys, okay? So first up on the list, we've got SPY. So SPY had this outside bar on Wednesday, and we have this inside bar here today. So normally these 3-1 setups are quite good. Okay, they work out in our favor quite well. Now I've gone back and looked already to see how SPY has reacted to those last 3-1s, and you can see there the outside bars are painted white, the inside bars painted yellow, and then we have these gold highlights. That's all part of the indicator that I created for you. That is part of the Griswold Gold membership, or you can purchase it separately. That link is in the description below. But you can see here, this one didn't work out, as probability would have told us. We broke to the high, and then we just end up trending to the downside for the rest of the day. And I looked at a couple more. This one kind of worked out, but not really. And if we go back one further, this one gapped down and then came up. So the 3-1 really hasn't worked on SPY all that well, but we do have a hammer candle here. So we have two things in our favor. We have that inside bar, and we have that hammer candle, and we have the 3-1 setup, which, again, doesn't happen very often. It tends to be, or usually is, a high probability play. Now, if you guys can hear me, just give me a 1 real quick, or say, type something in there just to let me know I can hear you, or you can hear me, because it doesn't always work out, and sometimes you guys are just sitting there watching me scroll through a screen. But inside bar, hammer candle. So a hammer candle, guys, let me zoom in for you. A hammer candle has this body at the top and a long wick to the bottom. Okay, so it's a bullish pattern. And what we look for that hammer is this body and then a wick that's at least 2 times the size of that body, which is exactly what we've got. So when we open up on Friday, for Lotto Friday, when we open up, and I'm just going to take a stab at this, in the dark, and say, because of how small this candle was, this small range here, it was like a $2 range today, $2 and a bit. I'm going to say we're probably going to gap up in the morning, if I was to guess, okay? If I was to take a wild stab in the dark, I would say we were going to gap up in the morning. But we'll see how it plays out. If we don't, we're going to look for a break of either one of these inside bars. And I always tell newcomers or people who are struggling to watch the inside bars. That's what you guys should be looking for if you're struggling. If you're looking for the setups, these are the easiest to spot, because really you can take the break of either one of these. And so we look for calls at 412.43 or puts at 409.97, and then we just mark our targets out at the tops or the bottoms of the preceding wicks. If we trend to the top, our first target is at the top of the wick, and then the next highest preceding wick. Same thing if we go to the bottom, okay? The lowest preceding wick, and then the next lowest preceding wick, and so on and so forth. So if I was going to give you guys a top 5, Nikia says good afternoon, good afternoon. Nikia, same to you, good to see you here. This would be on one of my top 5 plays. So I give the top 5s to the Griswold Gold members every day, as long as I'm not throwing up. like I have been the last couple days. But this would definitely be on the top 5 just because it's SPY and I watch it all the time. Now, as we go through these setups on the day, guys, if this stuff doesn't work for you, all I need you guys to do, and I put out a video, I gave away my secret sauce, my secret recipe on what I do every single day. And it's not really a secret. I tell you guys all the time. I'm not here to hide anything or pretend to do or be anything. But what I do, guys, is I just hop down to a smaller time frame. I found my little niche, and my niche is the 15 minutes. So you can hop down to the 15 minute and do the same thing that I'm doing here throughout the day and find your triggers and your targets on setups, on reversals into time frame continuity. Now you can go check out the video that like I said, I just created it. It's about a week old, and it basically tells you guys exactly how I trade every single day, managing on the 5, but setting my triggers and targets on the 15. Okay, so we'll move away from that. Let's just move on to NEO here. Okay, so NEO has an inside bar. Okay, so we talked a little bit about the inside bars on SPY. Let's talk about it on NEO as well. I'm just going to give you guys some targets here. My targets are always green. And there. So when you see these, thanks for that, Nikia. She just said the SPY video is really good. When you see these inside bars, guys, and this is kind of just an analogy I came up with on my own, and when I see these yellow bars, I always think of it as like a spring. And if you can imagine, like, either if it's like a jack-in-the-box or a spring, just if you can imagine a spring in between your hands and you just squish it together, or something squishing on that spring, when you let go of it, when you remove that pressure off that spring, you're expecting an explosion or a big move in one direction or the other. And that's essentially what we're looking for off of these inside bars. You know, an inside bar or a 1 bar in the strat, it doesn't break the high, it doesn't break the low, it consolidates, it's tightening. And when we have that, we look for those big breakouts. Now, do they happen all the time? No. You can see here, this one didn't work out. This one didn't work out. This is exactly what we were looking for off of those inside bars. And I'm here to tell you guys, like, if you're looking for a magic potion or a magic formula or a magic strategy to get rich, you're not going to find it because it doesn't exist. What you can do is find a strategy that fits your style. And I think the strat fits a lot of styles for a lot of people because it is so simplistic. And I will always tell you guys, when you simplify trading, trading becomes simplified. And this is the most simplistic way of trading that I've ever come across. Now, when we look at this inside bar, this is exactly what we look for. We look for the triggers to either the upside or the downside, and then we look for it to hit targets. This was a fantastic trade. Again, here's another one that worked out. This one gapped up and it didn't work out as well. But these are the types of plays that we're looking for, guys. And again, I'm telling you because I'm not trying to hide anything from you guys. They don't always work out. Every strategy that anybody on Twitter or Facebook or YouTube is trying to show you guys is based off of probability. They're basing it off of probabilities. Whatever strategy they use is based off of probabilities. And the reason I know that, and the reason, and it just is that, is because nobody knows. When Friday morning opens up, nobody knows what this candle is going to do. They don't know where it's going to open. They don't know where it's going to close. They don't know how it's going to act throughout the day. They just don't. And so we can look at different strategies and say, okay, based off of what we see, what we're shown, what we're taught, the probability of X happening is this. But when it doesn't happen, then what are you doing? And that's another thing that the strat teaches us. And it shows us how to get into trades and how to get out of trades when they don't work with us. Okay, so NEO inside bar, calls at 8.45, puts at $8.09. The targets, again, guys, tops of the wicks and bottom of the wicks. And if you want to put another one in there, you can do so, okay? It's just the bottom of the preceding wicks, okay? Bottom of the preceding wicks, or vice versa, if it trends to the upside, tops of the preceding wicks, okay? Let's move on to AMD. Here's another inside bar. I'm not going to go through these any longer with you. We've talked about inside bars quite a bit. So inside bar, we can look for calls at 99.19, puts at 96.14 on AMD. MU, Again, another inside bar. I might have trouble picking a top 5 here because there are so many inside bars. And people always ask me, what do you look for in a top 5 pick? A lot of the members ask me that. When they have one-on-ones with me, they're always asking me that. And some of it's experience, guys. I'll tell you straight up, some of it's experience and just seeing what I see. And sometimes it's a gut. Sometimes it's going with what I see. Sometimes it's, spy with a tight inside bar. I look at time frame continuity. Sometimes I look at broadening formations, but time frame continuity is really important. The setup is really important. The ticker itself is really important. I'm likely not giving you guys, or the group, the gold members, an inside bar setup on MasterCard or Lowe's or Home Depot. I'm just not, because those tickers have wide spreads and they're a little bit more expensive, and not everybody's trading with a really big account. So all of that stuff comes into effect when I'm giving out top 5s for you guys. Okay, so MU inside bar calls at 61.81, puts at $60.07. We move on to Roku. Okay, so this is a little bit different. We talked about the hammer candles off of those inside bars. Now we just have strictly a hammer candle off of this setup. So it was a 2 down that finished green. Now, I talk about this in almost all my videos because I see it on Twitter happening all the time and people talking about it all the time. Does the color matter? Does the color of the candle matter? And it does to an extent. And what I mean by that is, guys, if the candle is green, it's telling me there's buyers. If the candle is red, there's telling me there's sellers. So when I look at just this indicator here, it's telling me there's buyers on the arrow. That's what the green candle is. It's a green arrow facing up. There's buyers across the board. Okay, that's basically what it's telling me. Now, where I come to say that color doesn't necessarily matter is a situation like this right here. This was a 2 down red. Okay, but we still trended back to the upside. Yes, there were sellers, but Friday, May 5th came along and we trended up. So the color didn't matter. We still had a 2-2 reversal. What the color tells me right now is 2 things. Okay, so I've got a hammer candle, bullish pattern. I've got a 2 down that finished green. That's bullish. That's giving me two sets of, requirements that's telling me that this is a high probability of trending to the upside. So we have the hammer candle. We have a 2 down that finished green. We have full time frame continuity back to the upside outside of that quarterly. But if you want to talk about full time frame continuity, you don't necessarily need to look at the quarterly and the yearly. You could just look at these 4 right here: hourly, daily, weekly, monthly. Those 4 would tell me there's full time frame continuity to the upside. Okay, so those 3 things make this a high probability trade. Now, if the spread is not the greatest, it might not be a trade for you. If the premium is too high, it might not be a trade for you. But those are some of the things that I look for when I'm looking at a high probability trade. So Roku, we can look for calls at 57.07, and that's the trigger price. That's not the strike price that I'm taking. That's the trigger price. So my strike prices, I always get about $1 or $2 outside of the trigger price. So my strike price on this would be, if there was a 57.50, I would look for it, or a 58. Okay, those would probably be my 2. Maybe a 58.50, maybe a 59. I probably wouldn't push it that high. Okay, I'd probably be looking for a 57.50 or a 58 strike price. Let's move on to Shopify. So Shopify, again, full time frame continuity. And guys, these are the types of setups. If you look at this setup as a whole, okay, just look at these candles right here. When I'm looking on the smaller time frames, like I talked about earlier in the video, this is what I'm looking for. Okay, so we're in an uptrend. We have an inside bar. We come back down. I'm looking. So this is close to a hammer candle. It's a 2 down green. It's full time frame continuity. On the smaller time frames, again, this is what I look for on those 15-minute charts. I'm looking for a reversal back to the upside with time frame continuity. Okay, so if I were to, I'm just going to click in here and see. I want to find this rectangle. Here we go. If this opens up, this is what I'm looking for, guys. This is what I'm looking for that candle to do on Friday. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for an open, and I'm looking for it to run up. And that is a reversal back to the upside with time frame continuity. That's what I look for. Tesla, inside bar, calls 173.57, puts at 166.79. If you guys have questions and you're watching this live, I think as long as you're subscribed, you can leave a comment or ask a question in the live chat. If you're watching this as a recorded version, feel free to leave the comments down below, okay? I will get back to you guys. If this isn't the platform you want to use, if you're on Twitter, I'm there as well, at Mr. Clark Griswold. You can find me there. You can DM me there. Or you can find me in my Discord. I have a Discord. It's free to join, guys. There's no cost to you guys to join. It's free. There's a bunch of rooms in there. That link is in the description below as well. And there is a paid portion. Everything that I offer for you guys, free or fee-based, can be found in that Discord. We move on to Wells Fargo. Here's that 2 down green again. So we're going to look for calls at 38.48. First target at 39.20. Airbnb with an inside bar. Okay, calls at 114.46, puts at 111.04. 2 down green from Boeing, so we look for calls on there as well at 202.55, first target at 203.20. BAC 2 down green, we look for calls at 27.49. If you're wondering where I'm getting calling out these numbers from, guys, they're just on the right hand side here. So my yellows are triggers, and the price is right here. Okay, these light teal blue, that's my monthly triggers. And then this blue dotted line here, that's post-market. So that's when the market, after the market closes at 4 Eastern, there's about an hour, I think it's an hour and a half of post-market time where the price will fluctuate and people are still able to buy and sell. Citigroup has a 2 down green. We look for calls at 46.13. Nikki, I'm going to get to that right at the end. Thank you for that question. Okay, CRM. Guys, here's another really good setup, okay? 2 down green, hammer candle, okay? We look for calls at that 203.80 trigger. We've got full time frame continuity. We've got a 2 down green. We've got a hammer candle. And we've got our first targets marked out at 206.28. We'll move on to the next one at Cisco, inside bar there, 46.85 for the calls, 46.20 for the puts. CVX, 2 down, green, hammer candle. Let me move this up. There we go. Calls at 156.32 on CVX. CVX, we go to eBay. There's the inside bar on eBay. So calls at 45.90, puts at 45.46. So again, look at this. This is a hammer candle. Okay, so there is conflict here. Inside bar, hammer candle, full time frame continuity to the downside. Yes, the hammer candle is a bullish setup, but it's also red. So it makes it less bullish. But again, that's just, we're dealing with probabilities here. There's less probability of this being a bullish, the next candle being bullish, based off of this being red. If it was green, I would say there was a higher probability. But based on time frame continuity and the red, there's less probability. So we have to look at those things when we're looking at our setups. EW 3-1 setup, we talked about those. They don't happen very often. Let's go see the last time EW had one here. We are storming here currently where I am, so if you guys hear banging or whatever, it's thunder or it's hail banging on my window. Let's zoom in here. Again, guys, 3-1 setups, this is what we look for, okay? Triggered, targets, great trade. Here, 3-1 setup, this one did not work out as planned, okay? We gapped up and then continued to trend down. It's all probability based. There's nothing more than that. Like I said, there's no magic potion, magic pattern. Some guy doesn't know what every candle is going to be. He just doesn't. Okay, we move on to Ford. Ford has an inside bar hammer candle off of a 3-1 setup, so we can see how Ford plays out. I actually kind of like Ford outside of the time frame continuity. It doesn't move very fast for people who are beginners and get a little nervous. Okay. GE, there's the inside bar, nice time frame continuity, calls at 99.98, puts at 98.82. General Motors, 3-1 setup, calls at 33.28, puts at 32.85. JP Morgan here, 3-1 setup, calls at 136.81, puts at 134.90. And Walmart. Where did Walmart go? There's Walmart, 3-1 setup. Okay, let's move this trigger down. There we go. Full time frame continuity to the upside. We've got a 3-1 setup. Here's the last 3-1 we had. And again, it didn't work out. Okay? It doesn't always work out. But then, probability based, this is what we're looking for off of those 3-1 setups. Okay? See if there's one more here. Again, this one we triggered, hit targets, and then came back up. Okay? That's all we're looking for. We're looking for triggers and targets. We let the target stop us out. We let the candlesticks stop us out. So that is the list, guys. So I'm going to just answer, is it Kishore or Kishore? You didn't know we had a free Discord. So how can you join? So the link is in the description below. Okay? Just click on that link. If you already have Discord, it'll take you to my Discord channel. Okay? It's free to join. Again, there is a paid version of it for you guys, and the paid version gives you guys a 1-hour strat course. It gives you one-on-ones with me through Zoom or Google Meets. It gives you the top 5s from this list that we just ran through. It gives you live trading bots. So it gives you these setups for you guys, okay? And Nikia, thank you. Be sure to like the videos. It helps the videos get out to a lot of people, so I thank you guys for that, for liking the videos and commenting on them. Thank you very much. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do so down below, but click the bell. The bell will send the notifications for when I do go live every day, for when I do send out shorts, for when I do send out learning tool videos, okay? You'll get them directly. It'll pop up on your screen. Say, hey, Clark Griswold just sent out a new video, okay? Nikia, you did ask, how do you decide which trade to get into if all your alerts go off, okay? So it's a great question, okay? And I don't know if I have the perfect answer for you. Sometimes when I have my top 5, I will whittle it down to a 3, or at least that's what I used to do. So if you guys are looking for this, and she's talking about alerts, so I'm just going to show you guys something here. This is what I would recommend you guys do. I don't want you guys looking at 10, 15, 20 different plays in a day to start the day, because there's no way that you guys can be hopping back and forth through all of these setups and realistically find something to jump into. You need to pick, 5, let's say, because I do the top 5, but this is what I need you guys to do. Set a alert. On TradingView, you can right click and you can say add an alert, okay? And it'll set an alert at 153.15. Now your trigger is at 153.27, okay? So it's giving you an alert just prior to that trigger being initiated, okay? You moving in past that trigger. So what it does is it gives you, it says, hey, we're about to trigger, or we're really close to that trigger point. You should hop over to Walmart. And that's all. That's also all it's really I use it for. Okay, is for you realistically to set that alert. You hop over to Walmart and say, okay, is this something I want to hop into? And again, sorry, Nikia, there's not really a clear answer. Like, if I gave you a top 5, you might want to dive into that and say, okay, I'm going to pick 3, or I'm going to set alerts on 5. But I really like SPY, and I really like NEO, and I really like Ford. Not saying those are in the top 5. Or, I really like Tesla. Tesla's something I like to play a lot, so if that one triggers, I'm going to jump in. The more you guys do this, you're going to find something that you like to be in more than the others, or the majority of you will. So for me, it used to be NEO, because NEO used to have these really big runs. It used to go on 10, 12, 15, 20% days. And they allowed for fantastic profit. They don't have those as much anymore, so I've kind of shifted my attention to SPY. And so I look at SPY a lot. I don't necessarily look at all of these throughout the day. If there is a double inside bar, or if I see a different setup somewhere else throughout the day on one of these plays, I might jump into it. But I would say like 90 to 95% of my plays, what I play is on SPY. And the reason is, guys, and SPY was not something that I would have played today because it sat inside bar all day. We talked about that. Okay, let's go to SPY. Look, SPY was on the day an inside bar. So it gets super choppy. And what happens is there's no real range. There's no, like, this, at this point you could have said, well, you could have taken this trade in here, but you weren't with time frame continuity. And I'm not going to explain that right in this video, but I know that because I was watching it. Okay? If you want to know a little bit more about time frame continuity, I've got a video on it. I've got a video on every single thing that you guys need to learn off of this strategy. Whether it's, you know, inside bars, outside bars, 2-2 reversals, a 1-2-2 rev strat, full time frame continuity or time frame continuity in general. Whether you just want to trade SPY, the 30 and 30 strategy. I've got a whole series on SPY that I did for like 2 weeks. The amount of videos and knowledge that I've got in here for you guys to learn this stuff is immense. Okay. Andy says SPX, SPY, and QQQ is pretty much all I look at now. Unless we get these choppy inside days, then I scroll through individual stocks. Yeah, that's a great strategy. He's found a little niche there with the SPY and QQQ, and he found that, you know, they work for him outside of those inside days. There is no range. So realistically, guys, this is all I sit on SPY, and I don't do it all day. I don't want to have to sit in front of a screen all day, and I don't. Okay? So all I'm doing is looking for reversals into time frame continuity. That's all I look for. Okay? And again, today wasn't a great example, but go look at my SPY video, my bread and butter, my secret sauce, the secret to everybody who tuned in today. I appreciate it. Good luck trading on Lotto Friday, guys. We have a beautiful weekend here. It's going to be like plus 30 degrees Celsius, so I'm excited to get the kids in the pool. Guys, have a great weekend. Good luck trading on Friday. We should have a daily list and a weekly swing list out on the weekend or Sunday night. We'll see when I get it out. But thank you guys for joining me. I truly am appreciative of every single one of you guys who tune in every day, who are part of the Discord, who engage in the Discord, who engage on Twitter, who are part of the Twitter family that we have there in the community. But I truly am grateful for everything I have and everything you guys have really helped me to create, because without you guys, I don't have any of this. So thank you guys very much. I appreciate it. Good luck on Friday. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you.